We've got Mimic here. Hit me with your pitch. What's going on with this super cool Mimic deck?
Yeah, so for the longest time I've been wanting to try Mimic and I've been struggling to find, I guess, a place in the meta because before set one rotated out, I used to play Amajiki, but I played Amajiki super defensively on water.
Sure.
So, I had Ice Storm, Breaker 2, Sticky Balls, pretty much like all the stuff to keep Amajiki alive as a seven-hander. So I switched to aggro just to try it out, and then I've not been winning any games. So yeah, so Mimic seems like the kind of best defensive deck for me, like a slow and steady pace. And when we want to go uh aggro, we could just go aggro while building up stuff while playing defensive.
Sure. Okay. I get that. I get that fully. So what do you need my help with?
What I'm struggling with is pretty much the aggro side. Is like we have bio seasoning for a draw one, 45% power for a draw one. The thing I'm struggling with is just to like make those cards hit because our average speed is 4.
Yeah.
So like I would see that as a problem because we can't really hit people on a clap like when we need to hit people on a clap.
Sure. I think that's totally fair. That's totally fair. And you feel this way even through like quick to act, unmatched quickness?
Yeah, because like, you would have to get pretty much to like half health, and I know we have stuff to get us to half health with like Darkness Dragon, we lose a health, paying the cost, we lose a health, and Blue Flame Immolation to pay a health.
Yeah.
I just feel like yeah, we could take a few hits with Mimic, but then it's like, okay, when we get there, it's like how are we gonna be able to put our opponent in the same position with us to keep like the game in a fair and balanced point?
Sure. 60. Is this number able to budge?
Yeah, I could budge.
Okay. I don't know that it will. I will try to keep it as close to 60 as possible, but I just wanted to know how religious you were about it. So first and foremost, I think that Evil Mimic is really, really strong. Obviously, last format, I had a teammate, Phil Birch, go get 4th place with Mimic at Nationals, at US Nationals. Evil Mimic specifically, of just like what are the cool things that this character gets to do? And the answer is they get to do a lot of cool things. And so I'm gonna try my best to like really open up the cool things that this Mimic deck gets to do. Okay.
Yeah.
Quick standard. I want attack cards. So the number one thing that I think we get to like really mess around with is we get access to repeatable cards that we get to just go pick up over and over again, as well as having access to like really neat one-ofs
Yeah.
that are very potent.
Yeah.
We're just looking.
Yeah, like I said, with like the vile seasonings and like 45% power, it's like also a good way to like recoup on your turn because you're just drawing and you're rebuilding what Mimic could actually do best. It's like just defend as long as you can. He's pretty much like a Togoro or a younger Togoro before younger Togoro came out.
Sure. That's I mean, this guy absolutely shits damage. this guy hits like a truck. He is one of the characters that I think, he's one of the characters that if I didn't make content, I think that I would be all over of just being like, of just being like, he hits, if I didn't make content and I could sit down and focus and make the best Mimic deck of all time, and it was the only deck I ever made, I think that it would be like one of the coolest, like most beautiful decks of all time. My issue is that I do make content, and so I can't like adjust weird ratios over and over again.
No, yeah, understandable.
Yeah. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is I want to cut a bunch of stuff from your deck. Things like Trigger Transformation should exist as a one-of. This card's super neat, but doesn't have to exist in here. I think that it being the 7 diff on turn 2 is bad, but it being a 4 diff on turn 3 or 4 is pretty good. And also, building up the trigger from the discard pile is a good ability once, but we don't need it over and over again.
Understandable, okay.
Blue Flame Immolation is a very bad card. It might be one of the worst rare attacks in Jetburn, which is like saying something because that set is very good, but like this card this card isn't good enough to exist in your deck. All this card does is, the coolest thing about this card is it's a deadlock response, and I want to kill them before that happens. I want to play really solid defense, just enough, and then murder them dead.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna cut this one.
Okay.
Darkness Dragon Prowess. I think this is a very, very cool one-of. I think this card being a one-of is really neat because as Mimic, you can just go pick it up whenever you need it or want it. It's pretty decent.
Yeah.
The attacks that I want to include in your deck. First and foremost, Blue Flame Torment is the best evil attack in the game. Second behind Vile Seizing when my opponent is at deadlock. Blue Flame Torment is not a fair card. A 5-low for 5, sometimes 5-low for 7 that guarantees my next attack is good. And it also, on defense, is a fake breaker 2 if I have a momentum. This card is a 4-of and wants to be a 4-of in our deck. This card is so good. Up next, we have Invincible Clasp. Invincible Clasp is just the instant replacement for the other high block that we were playing. I already forget what it was. The 5 diff.
Blue Flame Immolation.
So with Mimic, we're gonna give it a ton of damage because of his bottom response. If we want to burn the life to give it an extra stats, we can, and it's just a throw. And so like a game plan that you can have as Mimic is play really tight defense, go Invincible Clasp. Play Invincible Clasp, check an asset, pick up Invincible Clasp, play Invincible Clasp. On their have them both go to the discard pile. On their turn, check an asset, pick up Invincible Clasp for your turn. On your turn, and you just play 2 6-damage throws every turn, and they'll die eventually. They will die eventually.
Yeah, and then not only that, but like, you know, you're just already poking them for 6, and it's like, oh damn, I just took 6 damage. You know.
Yeah. The last card that I want to put in your deck at the 4-of, and how married are you to Darkness Dragon Prowess?
So it was pretty much a test card. Like I said, I'm not too married to it. I wasn't really too married to the Blue Flame either, so we could like cut both.
Love it. So I'm gonna cut the Dragon Prowess, and Electromagnetic Stomp is how the evil symbol kills people. The reason to play Evil Mimic is because of Stomp. Lose 2 health, ready an asset is not really a cost. It just isn't.
Yeah, that's true. Like earlier today, like I said, I was like I was kind of testing on TTS, and so I played Stomp. I like committed my ass to respond with Mimic. Did the box full of babies commit, give it +1/+1, then just do it again, and I was like, oh, I just gave my Stomp. I just accidentally gave my second Stomp 7 speed and 9 damage.
Yeah. So the cards that we're missing that are very cool in your deck because you can just go pick them up kind of whenever is Surging Crystal Darts. If they're at deadlock, this card just kills them. Because it gets 1 for every 6 cards in your discard pile, and that's very strong.
Yeah.
Chronostasis Trigger is just a 2 mid-block breaker block that is on symbol. You have the evil symbol, so you can change it, and then if it deals damage, you can seal their character. Berserker Bite. Flip a foundation after you play this card. All cards get +1 difficulty. So you block with this card, and then you essentially breaker 1 them for the rest of their turn. And then lastly, True 100% Unleashed. When you go to 10 health and you check by checking an asset, you just pick up True 100% Unleashed, and you have a perfect mid block.
Yeah, that's something I like would have never even thought of, especially Berserker Bite as well. I wouldn't have never thought of that.
Yeah. Berserker Bite is one of my favorite cards right now, specifically against like younger Toguro, right? Like they play it cancels Twisting Azure Inferno if you can block with it, right? And if they didn't play Twisting Azure Inferno, you just like breaker 1 them for the whole turn, and they got to figure their life out. On to the other actions and assets that the evil symbol gets to play. Team Dr. Ichigai is a messed up card, and you should be playing this card. Fierce Wings says you get to go pick up your triggers. Remove, add a card with difficulty 3 or less from the discard pile of your hand. You just go pick up your trigger and then build it. Or you go pick up Barrier Shield when you need it.
Yeah, that's true. The real sad thing is I don't own any Fierce Wings.
Oh, okay. Okay. I don't know how much they are. Are you planning on taking this to Vegas? Is that the plan?
I wish I could. I wish I had money to go to Vegas, but no, sadly.
Fair. I also wish I had money to go to Vegas. Twist Running is great. Trigger is cool. Shutdown makes sense. I'm a huge League of Villains fan in Mimic. I think that this asset is so freaking strong, but I get people not playing it. I get it. I think that this top enhance of commit a foundation is to cancel an enhance on an attack or a foundation is so good. Just like looking at Toguro and being like, that one doesn't draw the card, or that doesn't, your Twisting Azure doesn't work, or your Tasty Rift doesn't work, Asui. Like it's really, really good. I'm a fan of.
What's that one? I know they're playing that Botan card in younger Toguro, or Strike.
Yeah, or Strike. Hey, did you try and deadlock discard 3 cards out of my hand? No. Yeah, I like this card a ton. I'm a fan of Battle Arena because this card counts as 2 foundations and is +2 damage in your deck, and it gives you momentum. And in your deck, momentum equals trigger transformation. Momentum equals canceling things with Invincible Clasp. Momentum means Twisty Surroundings being a better defensive card. And, but we can't play because of Twisting. Just kidding. This card sucks. I'll never play this card. And now we've come to the best card in your deck. The reason that Mimic works. And the reason that next year, Mimic is going to go from a possibly like top 5 best decks in the game to he has to refigure out his life. And that's Training Weights. How many of this card do you own?
I think I own 2.
You own 2? Okay, well, you're going to get 2 more because this is a 4 of in every deck that you play now. In every Mimic deck.
Alright.
This attack gets +1 damage for each time this enhance has been played this combat phase. So this is the first time that you play it, enhance commit Training Weights +3 damage. You can commit a foundation, or discard momentum, or commit a foundation to re-ready it, or more importantly, lose 2 health to re-ready it. And then on the next attack, you can commit it again, and either pass the check with Mimic, or whatever. And this is your main momentum out, is this ability right here. We play 4 of this one. This one is incredible. It is a better version of what Box of Babies is doing, like for damage wise, right? Like Box is probably going to drop down to a 2 of, and then this is the card. This is the best card in our deck. There's some hands where like if I know that I'm trying to kill with Mimic, I have to hard sculpt for Training Weights. Like I will pitch a 6 foundation hand that I know that I can build because I didn't find training weights on turn 1 because of how important this card is in this deck.
Yeah, that's true.
Foundations. Quick to act is cool. Surviving the final is cool. I probably would up the quick to act count, but I think 3s in each of those numbers is probably fine. We had babies in our floating around my babies. This card is a dangerous game in our deck because it means that we're removing options to pick up with, Mimic. So like,
Yeah,
I think at like a 1 of is probably the right answer, and then if we want to keep our 0 diff count, we should pop those back up.
sounds good.
Adaptable anatomy is neat. Paying the cost is cool. Unmatched quickness, frightening calm we can't do. Settling old debts. I like this card because normally Mimic gets to 6 foundations, but then stops. I get not playing it, but I think 6 foundations is totally doable in most decks. Even if it's not like a whatever, it's like a 2 of, right?
Yeah, I could totally agree with that.
But
a 2 of.
it's easily on the chopping block, and so we're gonna cut it down.
Okay.
Phil Birch lives and dies by relaxed demeanor. He says that this is like one of the best cards in the deck. I don't see it, but man, I have to trust my teammate, I guess. I guess I gotta trust the guy.
Yeah. I mean, some cards in this game you just live and die by. My friend, he plays Toya, and he only has 3 refreshing slice, and he like lives and dies by that card. He's like, I need 1 more copy, or else this deck is just like on the thin line. I was like, I can agree with that.
Huh. Mastering the Dragon. You want to explain this one to me?
So Master of the Dragon was pretty much there for like when we go stomp into stomp, and like, oh, we lost 4 health, and we're gonna just recuperate and just draw 2 cards.
Sure. That's fair.
If you feel like that we should cut it because like kind of losing 4 health just to lose a foundation and just go plus, I guess essentially +1, then I could understand it. Like cutting it and just finding a different low block for it, I could understand.
I think that this card is not very good. I think having a remove cost, and you had to lose 4 health to draw your 2 cards is pretty bad. If this thing was a flip cost and I have lost 4 health, it's a very cool defensive piece. You are a 25 health character. Losing essentially a 5th of your health to draw 2 cards is not worth it. Not when you can go pick up attacks all by your lonesome. Like, you just go pick up attacks. Right?
Yeah. Picking up Vial Seasoning, Go Burr, stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
How do you feel about that incompatible quirks? That was another card I was kind of looking at.
My issue with incompatible quirks is it wants you to have a heavy foundation base. Remove a foundation, ready this foundation, and you just won't have it, right? We already said like we're gonna get to 6, and then you can't even like commit this card to block with it because it just has a static of it doesn't ready during the ready step. It's always frozen.
Oh, I got you.
And so like it just says that you're down foundations. If we wanted incompatible quirks, what we're gonna put in instead is cooperation offer, which is before you leave today will be a 4 of in your deck.
All right.
This one is neat. Yeah, Mimic is like top 5 characters that I want to be playing right now. I think in order, my list of characters I want to play are Asui 3, Jester, Endeavor 3, Ochako 4, Mimic. Like in order. And then are there any of these that matter? Man, I love Invincible Body. Man, what a card. Okay.
How do you feel about Excited for Bloods? Just like I have Lee Candle there, but let's like if we get into like a pinch, we got Excited for Blood and we just hit somebody and we just regain. like a fourth of our health back because we're like, oh, we just we're kind of losing to that aggro deck. Let's just say younger Tagoro, we're kind of losing in the pinch to younger Tagoro, but like if we hit younger Tagoro, we just get back in like that stall position.
Excited for Blood's flip, if you don't use the draw on it, right, is sometimes half, most times a third of a younger Tagoro attack. Canceling a third of a younger Tagoro attack is not worth the 3/5 slot for me.
Okay, got you. I can understand that.
I think the gain 4 on here is really there for, I have double excited for Blood on the board, or I've excited for Blood once, or you've hit me one time, and I pay the 2. It just says that this is actually a gain 2, flip gain 2 draw a card, as opposed to lose 2 draw a card, if that makes sense.
No, yeah, that I get what you're saying.
Yeah. Okay. So I want to talk about the assets that we're currently playing. Mimicry. I think this card is super, super neat. I think in order to make room, and we want to stay at roughly 16 to 18 assets, I think Mimicry's got to go.
Okay.
Gone. Airy. Airy, incredible one of. It's great. Can't play 2 of it because she says unique, and I need my 6 hand size character to be able to play all the cards in their hand if they wanted. Box full of babies. I think this is a very cool 2 of. I think it letting you recycle draw is pretty rad. I could even see, if we wanted to, it being at like a 1 of. It is the number 1 piece of, like, if we are running low on assets, if we can't find other assets we want to put in, because of the fact that it is a 1 diff, it feels very good to build them later. And so, like, this gets to pad this number as we, like, finish out what do we have here. Teams Out to Ichigai is a 1 of, for sure. I really like League of Villains, and you now get to tell me, do you want to put League of Villains in your deck?
We could. I would say it would probably be the perfect side card.
Okay. It'll stay on the sideboard. I refresh this. We've got 13. So that means that I get to bring this up to a 3 of. 15. Do 1. We just do the 4th one to make it 16. 16 assets. Actions. Actually, I think I might drop its best back down to make it 15. A 4th of my deck is as an asset. That is correct. Yeah, that makes sense to me. Yeah. 15, 20. That means the other half of my deck is non. I think in an evil deck, that makes sense. Okay. So already, I think our assets just look cleaner. If we wanted to, we could get like a 3rd Twisty Surroundings, because this card is a 2 mid-block breaker too, and does not feel bad if you want to go a little higher on the asset count. But I think starting here at 15 is not that bad. It's not that big of a deal, especially with the draw power you're going to get here and here, and now here. Foundations. As we take, and let's look at our block zones. 17, 25, 22. We've got 64 cards. League Handler, I think, is a 1 of, if any. Because the 3 diff that we want to open and draw is just Twisty. This is just the better version of the card. And this is like not got, it's got not a good block. Yeah. Easy cut, bench press. This card gets to leave. Because you are not going to be missing damage because we have access to training weights now. Training weights, you're going to be murdering people now. You are going to be turn 2ing younger Tagoro like it's nobody's business just because of this card. This training weights way better than bench press. It's crazy though. It's crazy. We want
Yeah, and
biceps, not pecs. That's what we care about.
yeah, and then that also means that paying the cost gets to leave
Uh,
because we don't want to. We
I
don't. I mean, I guess we can go lower on paying the cost since
I
we
think
don't
paying the
want to.
cost is a 2 of.
Yeah.
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 We're gonna take unmatched quickness and we're gonna put it at a 4 of. It is a 1/5 that says -1 speed. Also says +1 speed. Just does the thing. Mastery of the Dragon. He gets to leave. Goodbye. Where are we at? We're here. What else can I cut? Because the big thing that I want to put in your deck is Cooperation Offer at the 4 of. Press Conference. We have reduced your difficulty curve significantly. Press Conference gets to leave. Defying Fate is probably just not worth it. I think I want Defying Fate to leave. Look at our blocks. We have 9 low blocks. We're at here. Let's go. Where are you? Fruits of our labor. 62-13 with the ability to go pick up 1 low blocks. I really would just want to cut League Handler.
If you want to cut League Handler, we can.
I'm going to get rid of it.
I don't think that card's that good. It's just that, like younger Tagoro players like to string a lot. So like, okay, well, if I'm about to die, I can just make your last move not hit me.
Yeah. I think this is the list that I would test. This list is more aggressive, but I think that if you wanted to be really defensive, you would have to play Chaos Mimic in order to have that defensiveness.
Yeah, because what do we get? We get Struggling with Studies. We get
You get Knott's Flask.
Yeah.
Which is enhanced commit -4 damage. And on a 1 difficulty non-unique asset. So you like slam 2 of those out there and you're just like, this is 16 damage that you have to try and get through. And it also can do that same thing but on offense. So you can have like a +5 damage.
Yeah.
Not to mention you still get training weights. Yeah, the Mimic deck that I have is a Chaos Mimic that is doing that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Might have to check it out.
Yeah, well, it's on Patreon. You have access to it.
Oh yeah, that's true. Might check it out after this.
Oh yeah. All right, man. Any final thoughts? I think this is a really, really good initial base for you to take and start doing some minor tweaking, right? Like -1 Fruits of Our Labors, -1 Unmatched Quickness. Go find some of these other neat pieces. +1 Deadly Ruthlessness, +1 Defending Pageant Queen, and start messing with these numbers ever so slightly. But I think this is a really good blank canvas for you to start with.
Yeah, I think so too. How about the only thing I would probably suggest is like, how about we cut Invincible Clasp, maybe to like a 2 of, and then like just cut Trigger Transformation completely and just put it for Berserker Bite as a 2 of.
If we play Berserker Bite, we want it to be a 1 of. So I'm down to cut the 1 Clasp for 1 Bite if you want. Because they are both throws. The other idea, and I like this one better, is we just toss this and make it a 21 attack deck. 21 and 62 with the ability to go pick cards up and draw cards is not like you'll be fine.
Yeah, I actually like that.
Yeah. All right, buddy. Thank you much for the support over on Patreon. Thanks for jumping on tonight. Stay on the line long enough for me to shoot you the link, and you have a good rest of your night, okay?
Yeah, thank you, man. You too.
Welcome.